evening and welcome to the historic Watertown Civic Arena, the legendary home of the Watertown Arrows. You're watching Arrow TV, the best high school sports broadcast, brought to you entirely by Watertown High School students and community members. I am Cam Corey, your host for tonight's ESD action between the Watertown Arrows and the mighty T Titans. The Watertown Arrows come into tonight with a 7-win, 4-loss record. They have really battled against some of the state's toughest teams, toughest programs. Meanwhile, T comes in with a 1-win, 7-loss record, and they just came off of their first win of the year, a 3-0 sweep over the Governors of Pierre. And that was their first win of the year. They're looking to build off of some of that momentum here in the early part of this season. Actually, we're getting towards the middle of our high school volleyball season. Watertown Arrows really are a balanced roster. They have a lot of firepower at the net, and they are led by senior setter Kinsey Russell. Kinsey Russell runs that 5-1 offense, which means she's the only setter on the Arrows court. She doesn't come off of the floor in every rotation, and 6 rotations in a volleyball match, or as they go around, there are 6 different positions there on the court. Kinsey Russell will set in every one of those positions. She has dished out nearly 300 assists here in her senior campaign, and when Kinsey is able to be in rhythm, when she is able to get a good pass, she's able to keep those defenses off balance because she's able to feed multiple positions. When they have the 3 hitters in the front row and Russell's able to go to the middle, the left, and the right side, that is when Watertown is at its best. The outside duo of Anna Hertz and Ellie Thury, they bring that senior experience for the Arrows. Both of them have over 90 kills on the season and really do a lot of the heavy lifting for the Arrows. But let's talk about the X Factor, and I talked about her in the very first match of the year, thinking that she was really gonna have that breakout season, and hitting efficiency. Let's just talk about her. Kerrigan Klatt, she's a middle hitter for the Watertown Arrows, and she is hitting an incredible .445 efficiency with 31 blocks. But in talking about efficiency, she is one of the most efficient attackers in South Dakota volleyball right now in the statistical categories. So Kerrigan Klatt does not err very often. In fact, I think on all of her swings, she might have 8 errors on the year, which obviously helps in that efficiency category. T on the other side of the net, their record obviously doesn't jump off the page as one of South Dakota's elite volleyball programs. They did, just a couple of years ago, played in A-ball and now are up at the state's highest class in the AA division, joined the ESD conference, Eastern South Dakota, and having some transition, maybe a little bit of growing pains here in their transition up to AA ball. But let's talk about this young program in AA. They too have been battle tested. They have played some of the best teams in South Dakota volleyball. They have faced Harrisburg. By the way, we'll talk about Harrisburg maybe a little bit later in this program. They were down in Las Vegas on the national stage and just had a great weekend this past weekend. O'Gorman, we saw them here in the Watertown Civic Arena, and they really could do whatever they wanted against the Arrows in their last match. So O'Gorman, really a team filled with college volleyball players as well, a lot of height. And then, of course, Brandon Valley, the number 2 ranked volleyball program right now in AA in South Dakota. So 3 of the state's top teams T area has faced off against, and this T area, not a lot of players in their squad. They're not real tall, and they're young. Their bright spot, as I mentioned, for the Titans was sweeping Pierre 3-0 for their first victory of this 2025 season. You know, that win showed the group that when they are able to put things together, they can pass well, get into system, they can be a competitive team. So something that hopefully they're able to build off of, or at least for T fans, hopefully they're able to build off of here tonight as they face the Watertown Arrows. As we look at the matchup between these two programs, Watertown brings the depth and efficiency. There is a lot of good players on the Arrows team. They have some players, some hitters that are sitting on the bench just waiting for their opportunity, and they are, Watertown's going to be very competitive for a couple years yet to go. The Arrows average over 10 kills per set and are hitting at a 205 clip as a team. So a respectable hitting percentage. Maybe like to have that just a little bit higher in high school volleyball, but right now they're at 205. T, by contrast, they are going to rely on that scrappy defense and long rallies. If they can extend the points, force some errors, and slow down Watertown's middles, they should be able to keep it competitive here this evening. Now, that's a tall task against Watertown's front row in Munger, Klatt, Bach, Thury, and Hertz. The Titans, they're the underdog coming in tonight, and they cannot afford to give up some free points. The service errors, they need to limit those at the service line and really be aggressive against the serve receive of the Arrows. Serve receive for the Arrows hasn't been lights out as of recently, so maybe an area that you know, T is going to look to serve aggressive and try and get the Arrows out of rhythm or out of system here in this match. They want to reduce those miscues or hitting attack miscues, and if they can reduce their errors, you know, they should be able to put a competitive team out here on the Civic Arena hard court here tonight. Couple things, and we talked about it, some keys for Watertown to look for in this match is they need to pass cleanly to their setter, which is Kinsey Russell. And that's going to allow Kinsey Russell to use all three of her attackers in when she has those three up front, and specifically get her middles involved. She's got Reese Munger, who is right now, you know, they call her a middle blocker position for a reason. She is just a really good blocker from that middle area, but looking for her to become a little bit more offensive minded. But in order to do that, the pass has got to be there to allow Russell to get the middles involved. And then, as we mentioned, Kerrigan Klatt, she is, I believe, third on the team in kills, and with that super high hitting efficiency. That does talk about balance. So if they could pass the ball, and then Russell can bring some balance to that front row, and they don't have to rely solely on Thury and Hertz, get those middles involved, the Arrows are going to be better for every match that they play. Of course, they're going to look to keep serving aggressively. They want to keep T out of system. That's there. And then control that first contact. And that really starts. We talk about first contact. That's that serve receive. And libero Andy Olson and DS Jordan Remmers need to steady up that serve receive and start it off. If they start the tone with a serve receive that puts the Arrows in system, you know, watch out. We'll see how competitive the Titans can be here this evening. For some keys, as I've watched the Titans play a little bit on film, they need to feed the pins, and when they feed their pins, they need to terminate. The blockers for the Arrows really good in the middle, and Siri Bach, when she plays that right side, they become a wall. if T can go ahead and feed the outside hitters, and they can terminate and avoid the big block of the middles for the Arrows and that right side when Bach is in the front, that is a key that would do well for the Titans. In order to do that, they need to put up a block and slow down the middles of the Arrows, which I would look for the Arrows to really work on tonight and getting those middles involved in this match early. And then limit errors, especially from the service line. To beat the Arrows, this T-Titan team is gonna have to use some grit. They're gonna have to be scrappy and really sustain some long rallies. These long rallies could, frustrate the Arrows, as the Arrows like to terminate. The Arrows want to get that first ball contact, first ball kill, and put it down. And if you could sustain that rally, that has a tendency to frustrate other teams. It is homecoming here in Watertown, and this is a homecoming at night, the homecoming match for the Watertown Arrows. We're going to turn it over to public address announcer Mark Bellum for our national anthem and starting lineups.
Coaches and fans, we ask that you show respect for their efforts and recognize the vital role they play in providing opportunities for our student athletes. Without them, these contests would not be possible. At this time, we ask you to remain standing and join us in honoring America with the playing of our national anthem. Please show your respect for the flag by removing your cap or hat. Stand at attention with your right hand over your heart. Veterans and active duty personnel not in uniform may salute the flag. Now let's meet tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting T area Titans. Number 1 is a sophomore outside hitter, Kennedy Chesley. Number 2 is a senior setter, Ellie Cleaver. Number 6, a senior outside hitter, Anea Connors. Number 7 is a junior middle hitter, Remington Bouchard. Number 8 is a junior setter, Avery Franzine. Number 13, a sophomore middle hitter, Chloe Christensen. And the libero, number 11, junior Abby Mood. Assistant coaches, Polly Gill, Carson Quigley, Hunter Meese, Abby Martz, head coach Kari Hansen. And now your Watertown Arrows. Number 2 is a junior defensive specialist, Jordan Rivers. Number 3, a senior outside hitter, Anna Hertz. Number 8, a senior middle hitter, Siri Bach. Number 10 is a junior middle hitter, Reese Munger. Number 11, a senior defensive specialist, Ellie Thury. And the center, number 12, and a senior, Kinsey Russell. The libero, she's number 4, and a junior, Andy Olson. The assistant coaches, Kelly Athletic training services and care of our athletes are provided by Prairie Lake Sports Medicine through certified athletic trainer Faith Ulick. Arrow Care, close to home. And now it's time for an Arrow Block Party.
And there you have it, the starting lineups here for the homecoming match for the Watertown Arrows. For T-Area Titans, they will start with a 5'7" sophomore. She wears number 1. That's Kennedy Chesley. 5'6" setter senior Ellie Clayberg. She wears number 2. Number 6 is 5'9" outside hitter. She's a senior, Anea Connors. Remington Bouchard, a 5'11" middle hitter. She wears number 7. Avery Franzine, wearing number 8 tonight, a 5'7" junior right side setter. And number 11, Abby Boom, a 5'6" junior DS. And number 13, Chloe Christensen, a 5'10" sophomore outside. Clayberg to serve. 3 on the serve receive, as we talked about, allows Russell to use that and stay in system. She goes in a back set to Munger for Munger's first kill, hitting on that slide. That'll send Kinsey Russell to the service line. Swing out of the middle, it is blocked by Munger. Munger goes right back, one-times it, sees the court. After it was blocked by Bouchard, Munger right there seeing the court and goes into that zone of zone number 4, right in the opposite or the outside hitter's location for a kill. We see a kill there by the Titans. From the right side. Anea Connors gets that kill, and she goes back to serve. The Arrows are going to be out of system. Back row attack by Thury. Clayberg goes to work, goes to the outside. Big swing by Chesley, and goes off of the block and out. So good angle, good swing by Chesley, and Chesley gets on the board with her first kill. Connors remains back at the service line. Short serve, Thury goes down and gets that, goes to Munger in the middle. Quick set to Reese Munger. Reese Munger on the board with her second kill, and we talked about this in the pregame about how we'd like to see Munger have her coming out, be a little bit more offensive minded. Of course, it plays all 3 roles. You need the pass and you need the set, but Munger's got that ability. We've seen it on the defensive side, looking to see that on the offensive side here this evening as well. Hertz takes some off, goes right down the block in the arms of Remington Bouchard, and Hertz will be on the board with a kill. And we're seeing in the right side is going to be Callie Ellis. Callie Ellis wearing number 13. She's a junior. She is one of those players that I talk about on the bench that can come in, and really the Arrows don't lose a whole lot. She goes off of 1 foot well. She's a strong player, and she is now playing the right side. And Siri Bach, we see an ace for Reese Munger. Siri Bach playing middle right now, which is a different rotation for the Arrows than we have seen as of recently. Siri Bach committed to Northwestern in the cities. Great middle play by Bach, and there we get the overpass block, kill by Anna Hertz. But that was really set up by that middle play of Siri Bach, just not allowing an easy ball to go over the net. Munger remains at that service line, short serve. And go to the right side, dug out by Russell. Callie swings. And Munger puts that down for the kill. Arrows up 8-2 in set number 1 of this homecoming match. Munger back to serve. Munger, a 5'11" junior. Goes to Hertz. Hertz goes to the corner. It's dug out in the back row. Go to Hertz again, and Hertz hits that one long. So Reese Munger, a nice job at the service line.
Serving for the Titans, Remington Bichard.
Munger had 11 aces on the year. She gets 1 ace there to add to her total of 12. Big swing by Siri Bach on the outside, and she gets the kill. So Siri Bach
Now serving Anna Hertz.
playing well in the early going. We'll see a substitution, and Kerrigan Klatt will come in, and looks like she might play. We'll see if she's going to play outside. Ellis with the swing. Dug out by T. Ellis swings and just mishits that one. T did a nice job taking the setter out of that play. They hit it right to Kinsey Russell. Kinsey took that defense first, and that's what you should do. And then Andy Olson came in to take the second ball, and she set it up there to that right side. And we see an ace for the T area Titans, and that is Avery Franzine, a 5'7" junior. Another ace. Franzine gets her second ace in as many tries. 9-6, arrows up. Mishit by Klatt. Titans are able to corral that. Russell goes to the middle. Boom goes the dynamite for Siri Bach. Siri Bach playing her senior season and her homecoming as she has come to hit hard and hit a lot here tonight. She has been one of the focal points for the Arrows. See Jordan Remmers, the DS, comes into the match and serves that one up. Two-handed push over. Remmers digs that up, goes over to Klatt. Klatt hits the top of the tape. It's dug out by T. Swing by Chesley. And into the net for an attack error. Remmers will remain at the service line. And she gets an ace. Jordan Remmers now with 10 aces on the year. She came into this match with 9. Russell goes the outside. Good dig by Boom. Big swing rejected by Bach. Free ball to the Arrows. We'll see what Russell runs. Goes to a quick to Bach, and Bach puts it down. Siri Bach. Siri Bach with her 4th kill on the evening as we see a service error by Jordan Remmers. Siri Bach, 4 kills, no errors here in this match so far. Boom to serve. Russell goes to the outside. Klatt can't do a whole lot with that. Russell now goes to Bach again. Bach this time just does a one-handed push to the 10-foot line between zones 1 and 2 for a kill. Bach now leading the team with 5 kills, hitting out of that outside position and middle position. So seeing Coach Bellum move around her front row a little bit. We have Munger and Klatt. We're going to see a swing and a kill for Anaya Connors, the 5'9" senior outside hitter. Went off of the blocker's outstretched hands and dropped down for a kill. Short serve. Connors goes after the overpass and gets a kill of her own. So Connors now with 2 kills. Arrows up 14-10 in set number 1. Another short serve. And there we see a quick back. So sometimes they call that an A set, depending upon which team is up. And that was a good swing, good tempo for Russell, putting that down to the floor. We'll see Ellie Thury comes in to serve. Kinsey Russell seeing the court, puts that right in that deep corner. Kinsey Russell on the board with a kill. Ellie Thury remains back to serve. Serves it into middle back. Bichard with the swing. It is dug out by the Arrows. Good dig by Boom, the libero 4T. And you see Franzine, who's playing that setter position right now, is able to get the dig, and the front row players then, once the setter's taken out, they're waiting for the setter to come, but the setter's not going to be able to come in, and they let that one drop for an Arrow kill. Arrows up 17-10, set number 1. It's homecoming here in Watertown. And welcome back inside the Watertown Civic Arena. We are in at set number 1. The Arrows up 17-10 over the T-Area Titans. Connors swings, dug out by the Arrows, goes to really a 3. Nice moving Hertz inside the antenna. Hertz swings a lot out by the antenna. They're moving her inside, which gives a different look, and really that's what you're trying to do at the net, is bring different angles, and Hertz there gets the kill. As we see Ellie Thury, she gets an ace here this evening. That is Thury's first ace here this evening. That makes her season total up to 15 aces. So we'll see Clayberg check back in. Clayberg will now become the setter. Tip by Hertz, down for the kill. Right into the donut. We'll see Callie Ellis come back into this match. Good back set by Kleberg. Out to Connors. Connors swinging at the right side and gets that one to go down for the kill. So Connors, so far in this match for T, she the only player that has a kill for, no, Chesley also has a kill. They just don't have her up on the in studio board here. Quick set to Munger. Into the net for a hitting error, but good thought process there, and that's something that the Arrows are really working, as we're seeing here tonight, is moving their front row attackers around the net, getting the middles involved. There, Munger took that ball and really shouldn't have. That should have been Russell's. So just a maybe a mental mistake for Munger right there. Second ball goes to the setter generally, and Kinsey Russell's definitely able to get that ball there in the middle of the court at that 10-foot line. This time she's going to go to the right side where Hertz is. Hertz tips it down right in front of Connors for another kill. That is going to be her 4th kill on the evening. We see Siri Bach, and let's give a shout out to Siri Bach. She is on Watertown's senior homecoming royalty. They had the legend. That is one of the traditions of the Watertown High School. And last night they had what they call the legend, where students wear purple and gold, come down into the court, and they start off as, you know, maybe a little bit contrasting teams, and then they join to become one Arrow, and then they observe the crowning per se of the homecoming royalty. So we see Anna Hertz goes in for a quick back. Good set by Russell. Hertz puts that one away for her 5th kill in this match. Arrows up 23-15. Anna Hertz back to serve. (24-15) as we see the setter for T area, Kleberg. She kind of does a deep dish type of set, which is, you know, in my opinion, really kind of hard to time. Slows down, allows the blockers to see and set up for the hit. And then especially if you have another setter like a 6-2, which is what they're running here, and we'll see the second setter come in. Franzine will come in, and she doesn't set as low in front of her as does the other setter. So there's 2 complete different tempos by the T setters. Arrows take set number 1, 25-16. We are live at the Watertown homecoming volleyball match. We're live for Dakota Land Federal Credit Union and DFS Insurance. Stay with us. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena as we see some of the first half highlights. And as we mentioned, we're seeing Kinsey Russell, who is just distributing the ball well, and that starts off with the pass and really getting those middles going, the last two attacks out of that middle position. Seeing Siri Bach goes up, sees the open court, and puts that down for a kill. On the other side, the bright spot for the T-Area Titans is Anea Connors. Connors leads the Titans with kills. Anna Hertz, as we see her, a lot of times in the early going, we've seen her wanting to hit out of, deeper to the pin, which is the antenna. And tonight we're seeing them move her around the net. There we see her hitting out of that right side, also bringing her in closer to the court, the middle of the court, and that sets that tempo up by Kinsey Russell. So she gave a quick back, and that's a timing play. In order for that to work, both of these girls have to have worked together and been practicing on that set and attack. Because if timing is off, that ball is going to go beyond, a little too high. If Hertz is late, she could be early, of course, so timing really important on those quicks. We've got a good one here in Watertown homecoming. Kinsey Russell will start off set number 2. And she paints the line with an ace. Goes back to serve, jump floats it. Bouchard swings out of that left side. Arrows are able to get that. Now go to the right side. Good swing out there by, I believe that's Thorstensen playing that right side for T. Now they go to the middle. And really, I think Thorstensen would have probably had a better angle at swinging in that instead, and that might be a play that they work on. But Bouchard comes into that right side, goes off of one leg in front of the right side hitter and attacks that, and does have the attack error. Goes the middle, Bouchard. Good, hard hit right through the block of Reese Munger.
Serving number 2, Ellie Kleber. Reese Munger with the tip.
Munger with a kill.
Andy Olson now serving for Watertown.
And we will see the libero of Andy Olson going back to serve. Good serve. And go to the outside hitter of Franzine.
Anea Connors now serving for the Titans.
Anea Connors, the bright spot for T here in set number 1. She'll go back to serve, short serve. Olson's there, good serve receive. Big block by T-Area Titans to reject that swing. Bouchard gets her first block of the evening. Connors remains back at the service line. And Mr. Scott Wagner, the down official, calls the arrows out of rotation. And they are playing with a different rotation here this evening. He's explaining to Coach Bellum what the difference is. And now Wagner's going to look at the lineup. Wagner explaining it now to the arrows. Tells Russell where she needs to be. Free ball to T. Let's see what T can do with this. Gonna go to the outside. Swing by Chesley, and Chesley hits that long for a hitting error. Set number 2, all knotted up, 4 points apiece. That will send Anna Hertz back to serve. Not a big crowd here this evening in the Civic Arena for the homecoming match. Blocked by Klatt. It is picked up by T, but unable to keep it alive as they attacked it over the net on a free ball, and it did go out of bounds. Short serve by Hertz. Remington Pichard, a 5'11" middle hitter, just a junior, so young, will have another year. She's tall, lanky. Big swing by Kennedy Chesley, and that's one that went off of Andy Olson and might have been sailing out. Andy Olson did, contact that ball above her head and having to jump and really high pointed it. So maybe Andy'd like to have that one back. Now the Arrows need to dial it in. You could see they're having some fun playing in, some different rotations. Remington Bichard back to serve. Good pass by Olson, and swing by Ellis, and she hits that long. It's a good opportunity for Callie Ellis to work through some of these things. She's got all of the ability to hit the ball hard. Sometimes she can get down on herself, and so this is an opportunity for her to work through this and be on the court and get this varsity experience. As we see Siri Bach put it down just in that zone 6. Bach having a real nice game here this evening. Jordan Remmers back to serve. And she gets a good dig, goes to Klatt. Klatt tips it over. It is dug out by the Titans. Slide attack to Bach, and Bach softly. What do they call that? Some people call that a Heine tip. It means it's right over the outstretched arms of the blocker and right down the back, right behind him. Really hard for that back row player to pick that up. So good advanced play by Siri Bach.
Now serving for the Titans, Avery
Franzine goes back to serve for the Titans. Franzine has 2 aces here this evening. She's a really good server. They go to the middle. Christensen, a 5'10" sophomore, another young player for T. And she is blocked by the Arrows. That will send Siri Bach back to serve. Bach, as I mentioned previously, going on to play college volleyball at Northwestern in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. As we see a kill from the right side, and I believe that was that Chesley that got that kill from the right side. So good swing by Kennedy Chesley. As we see that T's libero goes back to serve. Munger swings, she's rejected. Munger's got to get it over, she does. Anea Connors with a big swing off of the outstretched platform of the libero for the Arrows. Andy Olson for a kill. Anea Connors now with 5 kills in this match. Again, all of our statistics up here are unofficial. Do the best we can as we see another tip by Reese Munger. And right now, T really having a difficult time of reading those tips of the Arrows. The Arrows came out swinging hard, and now that really put the T-Area Titans back on their heels, which has allowed the tips to just fall in. Kinsey Russell sends it over on 2. She can do that playing in the front row. Anna Hertz goes off a 1-foot, swings from the 10-foot line, and hits that into the net for an attack error. That will send Chloe Christensen to the service line. Chloe Christensen, as I mentioned, just a sophomore. Kind of a top spin serve. We'll see another tip or push type of attack for Anna Hertz. And we'll see Callie Ellis check back in for the Arrows. Jordan Remmers, the DS, will take a breather. Russell back to serve. Goes to the outside. Anea sees that, and really good athletic heads up move to get that over, and they're going to keep that point. It's one of those things, keep the errors low, sustain the rallies, and you know, allow sometimes the Arrows to make that mistake, and that's what T-Area did right there. Right now, T-Area leads the Arrows 12-11 in set number 2. The Arrows did win set number 1. Reese Munger back on top with a middle attack. Reese Munger with 6 kills, having a really good offensive night is the junior. An ace for Andy Olson. Setter wasn't able to get there, or the setter asked for help and didn't have somebody go after it. Not sure what the communication was there. This time they do go to the outside, where Avery Franzine is able to get a kill. That'll send Connors back to serve for the Titans. You can see T-Area now is creeping up, getting ready for that tip, and Bach is able to tip it down. They were there, it just was unable to keep it in play, but T-Area may be starting to key up that the Arrows are been really successful on their tips here this evening. Kerrigan Klatt will be on the kill there. Kerrigan softly put it over, and it was a overpass, and Kerrigan just put it right down the net. Not a lot T can do when that happens. As you see, Clayberg sets up Bouchard and hits into the block. The Arrows now on top, 16-13 in set number 2. Ace for Anna Hertz. Anna Hertz's first ace on the evening. That is going to be her 13th ace on the year. Anna Hertz, a senior, and Anna will be joining us on the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union post-game show. So please stay with us. Directly after this match, Anna Hertz will make the long walk/jog up to the rafters here in the Watertown Civic Arena. And we'll do a little post-game interview with her. As I mentioned, it is homecoming in Watertown on the 25th, which is Thursday at 7 p.m. at Allen Mitchell Field. Come on out for the Powder Puff football game. That starts at 7 p.m. at Allen Mitchell Field. And then one of the neat traditions that Watertown does is the seniors put on skits, and They are just short skits. They're funny. That'll be at 2 p.m. in the Watertown Civic Arena. Not sure if that's, you know, sometimes I see parents there, but of course all the student body will be there, and a lot of fun there. And then Aero Education Tailgate will also be on the 26th. That is on Thursday. And that will be at from 5 to 7 p.m. at the football game. And then, of course, the football game is at 7 p.m. on Friday. And that will be live right here on Aero TV as we see a sub for T area. That will bring in Brooklyn Berg, a 5'6" junior DS. She wears number 9. And Jordan Remmers in to serve. Watertown Arrows will face off against the Douglas Patriots in their homecoming game this week. See a nice kill in the middle by Christensen. Christensen puts it into the seam in the deep back row. A lot of people get excited about the kill, the termination at the 10-foot line, myself included. But one of the most effective swings and kills are those players that are able to effectively adjust their attacks, hit seams, and go deep corners. You know, there's a lot of analytics out there now, and you're seeing college coaches changing their offenses and their defenses based upon the analytics. And that's a swing. It's a little too hard. Most balls go just behind the 10-foot line. More on the right side to the center. Saw a lot of coaches using a perimeter defense as we see Kerrigan Klatt swings, miss hits that gets underneath the ball. And sometimes we say, what's the best hit? A miss hit. And that held true for Kerrigan Klatt right there. But, you know, the perimeter defense is something that is changing in the college game. See Kinsey Russell swing. She's rejected, but is able to pick up her own block. Good athletic move by Kinsey Russell. Keep that alive. Kerrigan Klatt puts it over the net. We've got a good rally. Goes to Reese Munger. Reese Munger, she mishits that too. Goes across her body and puts that down on the line of zone 1. Reese Munger just having a fantastic night at the net. Munger now with 7 kills. Big swing in the middle by Christensen. Chloe Christensen, as I mentioned, the sophomore. Nice hard swing, puts that in the back corner and down for a kill. Watertown up 22-16 in set number 2. They do have a 1-0 advantage right now. We'll see Reese Munger will be in the net on that one. Kinsey set that one just a little bit too tight to the net. Not a lot Munger could do. She had to readjust her attack and her approach and just kind of knuckleballed that over. Actually used her fist and was unable to stay out of the net. Seeing Kerrigan Klatt miss-hit that one, but does get the kill. So one of the things we've seen from Kerrigan out of these rotations is the timing is just off between Russell and Klatt. Now, you know, most of this year, Klatt has been hitting out of that middle. Tonight, she's hitting out of the left, and we saw that out of the right. So timing is different, and out of these rotations, she is just getting underneath the ball. So maybe a little bit late, or the tempo is a little bit too high for Klatt in their timing. So something those two need to work out. Good short serve for T. Swing for Anna Hertz, hits the tape and rolls over. Anna Hertz now with, I believe that's going to be her 7th kill on the evening. This will send Kinsey Russell back to serve for set number 2. Russell goes to the right side, and good attack, good offense there between Ellis and Russell. So I like what Russell's trying to do there. Sets up Ellis on a quick, and Ellis was there, good swing. T just read it just right and was able to block that and get the point. Russell going right back to Ellis, and this time Ellis puts it away to end set number 2. The Arrows in their homecoming match are up 2 sets to nothing. Stay with us, we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. It's the homecoming match for the Watertown Arrows as we see set number 2 highlights. Bouchard from the middle gets the kill on that first highlight, seeing her hit out of the middle area. And there we see Siri Bach just having a great night. She's got 8 kills in this match. Doing it both offensively and defensively as we see her set up the block and get it there. Hertz with the kill on the outside. One thing about her, she's learned, she's matured as a hitter, is Hertz. And you know, a couple years ago, and even to a little bit or last year, she would just swing as hard as she could, and you know, sometimes the ball would sail, sometimes she hit at the net, and she's changed that this year. She's added into her repertoire and really understood seeing the court, recognizing that she doesn't have to hit it as hard as she can every time, and that you know, knowing where the block is, and we see it there that she tried to go a sharp angle, did get the top of the tape, which is the net, and rolls onto that side. So Anna Hertz maturing as a player, developing as a player, which is, you know, we all love to see the ball hit as hard as it can, go right down to the floor, but that's not the most effective. And, you know, good coaches, good teams can pick up those hits. So need to be able to, you know, push, see the court, tip when necessary, and then have different types of attacks where, you know, sharp cross, line shots, and those are things that, you know, she's really worked on in the off season and has been developing, and she has a really good connection with Russell, and we see that as well. But hey, tonight has been just a great show on the Watertown side between Russell and Siri Bach. That has been fun seeing their connection here this evening. For T-Area, a young team battling here this evening. Anea Connors with 5 kills, and Kennedy Chesley, a 5'7" sophomore outside, you know, facing a big block for of the Arrows. She's got 4 kills and 3 digs here in the evening. So T-Area putting together some some nice runs as well, and they have dropped set number 1, 25-16, and set number 2, 25-19. But they have put together some really good things. So they're a young team. I really like Anaya Connors. She's got a heavy arm. And we see an ace by Ellie Clayberg. Ellie Clayberg, that's going to be, is that her first ace here this evening, I believe? She'll do the setting. Let's make it 2 aces. That is one area that the Titans have done well tonight, is their service game. They have really put some pressure on the serve receivers of the Arrows by giving some short serves, kind of trying to yo-yo them a little bit, move them front and back. So we see a block by T area, and blocks that again. No, they're going to call 4 on the Arrows, which means the T area Titans did not touch the ball. It hit the net rather than touching a hand of a T player. So point to the Titans. Russell on a slide. Munger swings. T's there, it blocks it, but good angle by Munger, and the blockers for T just unable to keep it in play on the Arrow side, and it does go out of bounds. T up 5-1 in the early going of set number 3. This will send Connors back to serve. Another short serve. Goes to the middle of Munger, and Munger is blocked by Bouchard. Remington Bouchard stands at 5'11", and she puts that down on the court for a T area point. T area up 6-1. Russell to Hertz on the right side. Hertz tips that down for a kill. Reese Munger serving for the Arrows. Hertz, Bach, and Munger all with 8 kills here this evening. Munger back to serve. Service error for Munger. T area up 7-2 in set number 3. Remington Bouchard back to serve. Remington Bouchard. She has 2 blocks from the middle position. And she trades spots with Chloe Christensen, and Chloe Christensen blocks an attack, a middle attack of Callie Ellis. And we're seeing Callie Ellis play that middle position right now, while Bach plays the outside position. Kinsey Russell on the right side. And momentum all T area right now. T area Titans up 9 to Watertown 2 in set number 3. This is the homecoming match for the Watertown Arrows. Watertown football team plays Douglas here on Friday. We'll have it live for you on Arrow TV, brought to you by Sam Mooney and Tyson Zemlicka. The Watertown Arrow volleyball team is scheduled to, actually both of these teams, Watertown Arrows and the T area Titans, are scheduled to play in the Sanford Pentagon tournament this weekend down in Sioux Falls. I don't know that any of those matches will be streamed unless you sometimes the Pentagon has pay-per-view type of viewing. So if that's something you're interested in, you just go to the Sanford Pentagon website and see if you can find them to view. Siri Bach comes back off of the timeout, and she gets a kill. Ups her evening total to 9. So a good challenge for the Arrows right now to look. They're down you know, 6. See if they can battle back in this match. Bach now with 10 kills. She's in double digits. Playing out of that middle position. And that is a block for Siri Bach. It's going to be her 4th block on the evening. Deep dish set. And that's just a timing issue again with Klatt playing on the outside. So timing between Kinsey and Kerrigan Klatt just not there. So really, that's the only, you know, major deficiency I've seen here tonight. Passing is allowed Russell to distribute the ball well, and there we see a good hit inside the line by Chloe Christensen. Thierry up 11-5. Russell forearm passes that. Kerrigan swings from the outside, and the line judge calls a touch. Point to the Watertown Arrows. Left-handed tip by Bach. It's picked up by T. Kerrigan Klatt swings out of the outside for an error.
Serving the libero, Abby Boone.
Tyria up 12-6. They are down 2-0. Good pass. Bach swings. Dug out in the back row by Berg. Right side attack. And swings, and it is long. That will send Andy Olson back to serve for the Arrows. Russell given a free ball, sets up the slide to Munger. Munger puts that away for a kill. In the women's game, the slide attack, which we've seen a lot of here tonight by the Arrows, one of the most effective attacks in all of women's game. It doesn't matter what level, from college all the way down to your high school levels, that slide attack is really essential for good volleyball teams, and we're seeing the Arrows putting together that slide attack with multiple different players here this evening. And there we see Kerrigan Klatt swinging with that quick back with Russell, and that was a cold-blooded connection. So good to see a little bit of movement and progress between the setter and Klatt right there. Ellie Thury serves. Kinsey Russell just sets that right back, two-handed push for the kill. That's her second kill on the evening. Ellie Thury remains at the service line. Connors, line shot, Thury's there, good pass, good dig. Hertz swings, it is dug out by Tier. It goes to Connors on the outside. She tries to go line, just hits that wide for an attack error. So I wonder if that's something that their coaching staff is trying to tell them. Connors went 2 attacks there, both of them line. Ellie Thury able to pick up the first one, and the second one did go wide left. Going back to Connors. Tight set. Good adjustment on the outside by the opposite hitter for T area of Thorstensen. So Maya Thorstensen, a 5'6" junior outside. That was a tight set, but she was able to get there and put a good attack on it. Point ended up going to the Arrows, but got to give a lot of credit there to Thorstensen. The Arrows have climbed back into this match. They're only down by 1. Make it 2 off of a Bouchard attack out of the middle. Bouchard with her second kill. Setters out. They go to Bouchard in the middle. And again, that tip, I believe it was by Hertz, took Ellie Kleberg, the setter, out of the play, which made the front row, the right side hitter, have to set that. Didn't allow them to put a real good attack on it against the Arrows. Definitely a strategy that the Arrows could employ here, is taking the T setter out of the game, or out of the play. And there we see a back set to Anea Connors, and she gets a kill out of the right side. We've seen a good number of her kills this evening coming from that right side. So she swings from the left and the right, and they don't do a lot of movement once they rotate, which is one of the reasons why they have her swing out of that right side as Connors gets an ace. But Connors, it's a different timing. On the right side, as a right-hander, you have to allow the ball to cross your body before you make contact with the ball. On the outside, as a right-hander, you can attack the ball quicker. You have to be there quicker. So, a little bit different approaches on each side, but Connors is effective on both pins. She's a nice player, fun to watch, as we see her at the service line. T-area now back up by 3, and we see Hertz with that Heine tip down to the court.
Junior middle hitter Reese Munger now serving.
Hertz with 9 kills on the evening. Reese Munger back to serve.
That's a kill for Remington Bouchard.
Bouchard off of 1 foot hits that one cross. Callie Ellis was a little, was there, just off of her hands, unable to keep that in play. Siri Bach, big time kill. Russell and Bach, timing is just about perfect here this evening. Those two have had a connection that T-area has not had an answer for. Bach now with 11 kills on the evening, as we see a middle attack. Callie Ellis with the block. Not a lot that Chesley could do. She's the outside hitter for T on that. She just did what she could to get the ball over, but Callie Ellis was there and waiting and puts that down for a kill. So we see a miscommunication between the setter and the hitter. For T. Anna Hertz gets the dig that puts that on the net, and the Arrows unable to set anything up off of it. Point does go to T-Area. T-Area up 19-18 in set number 3. Olsen, good pass. See what Russell can do. Does. She gives it to Bach. Bach tries to throw it over. And as long as you're not going behind your ear and throwing it, I mean, that is the term of throwing it over, but it's really a push. As we see Klatt with the kill. Not real hard, but effective. Right down on the sideline for a kill. And again, that's a miss hit for her. Kerrigan Klatt, a high jumper, as is Reese Munger, but Reese has been dialed in here this evening in her connection. Klatt, a lot of miss hits. There, sharp cross for Klatt, and she hits that wide for a hitting error. T-Area up 21-19. That'll send the libero. Boom, back to serve for T. Bach is rejected, gives it to Klatt. Klatt swings, takes some off of it, goes down, and good effort by the Titans and Chloe Christensen. Christensen just unable to bring it back into the court, and Klatt will get the kill. She's got 8 kills here this evening, playing out of that left side. Pass set, and that is an hitting error. Connors hits the antenna, and this will tie up this match. 21-21 in set number 3. Overpass. Russell's gonna give it to Klatt. There it is. That's the connection and the timing we've been looking for all evening. A quicker set to Klatt, and Klatt was there, puts that down to the court. We have a timeout. Watertown, believe this is their first lead in match number 3. They now lead T-Area 22-21. This is set number 3. They have a 2-0 lead. We'll be back in 30 seconds. And we're back to the game with Andy Olsen at the service line. 22-21 is set number 3. Russell goes to Klatt. Klatt takes a little off, and we see a soccer move, drops right down in front of the back row, and that is legal in volleyball. We had the one contact, and then the second contact came off of the foot of the Titan, and then they got it over on 3. Arrows not expecting that to happen, and allowed that to drop, as we see Kerrigan Klatt swinging there, looking for a touch. No touch called, and now T-Area takes the lead 23-22 in set number 3. Watertown does have a 2-0 lead, 25-16 and 25-19. We'll be back for the conclusion of set number 3 in 30 seconds. And welcome back for the conclusion of the third set. T-Area up by 1 with the serve. Over to Munger. T's able to control that. Now another tip by the Arrows. T gives it right back. Slide attack. They go from one pin to the other with a slide to Munger, and that drops down for the kill. This is all knotted up 23-23. Ellie Thury coming in to serve. Playing the DS role here this evening. Ball's up, and she's going to get an ace. She gets the friendly roll of the Watertown Civic Arena net. This is match point. Ellie Thury serving for her senior homecoming win. Ball's up. T's going to be out of system. Connor swings, and that drops down for a T-Area point. T knots this one up 24-24 in set number 1. This will bring in Clayberg. Clayberg will go back to serve. She will also become the setter. Russell to Munger. Munger powers it through the block and down for the kill. Watertown up 25-24. Callie Ellis in for the Arrows, sends Kinsley Russell back to serve. The Arrows now have 3 front row attackers. Connors can't do anything with it. Has to free ball it, and then Munger finishes the night with a tip kill. So the Watertown Arrows win in 3-0 here this evening in the homecoming match. 3-0. First set went 25-16. Second set 25-19. Third set 26-24 in a really close battle. T-Area was up by as many as 7 at one point and brought back the game by the Arrows. So really good test in that third set for the Arrows to work through the deficit and come back and win that. But on the other side, let's give some credit to T-Area. They put up 16 points, then they got a little better, put up 19, and that third set put up 24. T-Area does drop to 1-8 on the year, while Watertown improves to 8-4. Stay with us. We're live for Dakota Land Federal Credit Union post-game show. So the Watertown Arrows defeat the T-Area Titans here tonight in 3-0 as we look at the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union post-game show. We are live for DFS Insurance, but our player of the game tonight is going to go to the senior Siri Bach. Siri Bach is our Dakota Land Federal Credit Union player of the game. Congratulations to Siri Bach. She finishes her night with 11 kills and 4 blocks. Did have 2 digs on the evening. She's playing out of that middle position here this evening, but the connection between her and Kinsey Russell was just on here this evening. So congratulations. It's a week for Siri Bach. She is in the homecoming court for the Watertown Arrows. She just a week and a half ago signed her commitment to go and play collegiately at Northwestern in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. And then she's the player of the game here, just comes out and has a phenomenal night for the Arrows. We're going to be joined by Anna Hertz in just a little bit here on the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union DFS Insurance Postgame Show. And we'll talk a little bit about some homecoming traditions, so be sure to stay with us here on Arrow TV. Reese Munger, she had just a great night too. 1 ace, 12 kills, only 2 errors hitting, and 1 dig. One of the things, so that's just a great slash line for Reese Munger. Just a junior. We'll get to see her another year here in the purple and gold. Siri Bach had 11 kills on no errors here this evening. That is just a phenomenal hitting efficiency. Can't say enough about her play here this evening. And then Anna Hertz. Anna Hertz ends up with 9 kills, had 1 block, 2 digs, 1 ace from that outside position. Kinsey Russell finishes a really good stat line for her. She finishes with an unofficial tally of 39 assists, 3 kills, 1 block, 7 digs, and 2 aces. So really, really good game all the way around. And we are joined live on the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union DFS Insurance Postgame Show with the senior outside hitter, Anna Hertz. Welcome.
Hi.
Well, so Anna, this isn't your first time to the Arrow TV booth.
No.
So welcome back.
Thank you.
So really good match here against T area, and we know that T doesn't have maybe the best record, but they've played some of the better teams as of recently in high school volleyball. And you guys said it's homecoming, so a lot of activities. Some people would say this is like a gotcha type of game. What was your preparation coming up into the T game tonight?
We really had no preparation. They didn't have any film for us to watch. So on our pregame talk, we couldn't talk about where they hit, how they played, like what sets they would set. So she kind of went in there. She said, don't underestimate them. They're a good team. They beat Pier in 3. We beat Pier in 3. They said that we can't play down to their level and that we need to play our speed. Yeah,
so this is, that makes it a little bit difficult on a coach coming in blind. And, right or wrong, we have all of your Arrow games and Arrow TV, and I know that, Coach Bellum puts that out on Huddle as well. So they may have scouted you, and you guys come in blind a little bit for T area here tonight. So let's just talk about homecoming a little bit. Started off with the Legend last night.
Yep.
All right. So what are the activities now going on what are some of the traditions that are pretty neat for Watertown High School?
Well, so we do the Legend, and then they announce our Guardian of Gold and Protector of Purple. And then we go caravanning every night. You can hear the vans out there. They're ready to go, waiting for all of us. So we do that every night, and then we usually have a volleyball game home or away. Tomorrow night we have Powder Puff practice. And then Thursday we have the Powder Puff game, so girls will go play some football. Seniors will win. So
you talk about caravanning, and those that are watching us and maybe some still listening from T, what exactly is caravanning? What does that mean here in Watertown?
So we take vans, like, I don't know what kind of vans they are, but we cut out the top, we decorate them, paint them a certain theme, we get all these bus seats, and during homecoming on Friday we get to go through the parade, and we get to bounce in them and spray and scream.
Yeah, you cut the top out of vans.
Yes.
So what is your theme this year?
We are Just Dance 4. We're bright and neon.
Just Dance 4, and
yes.
I did see the other senior volleyball players. Are they in the same van with you this year?
Yes, yep, we're all in the same van.
A lot of fun. So we've got you guys playing this weekend at the Sanford Pentagon.
Yep.
What's that going to look like after a long week of activities? And do you have a curfew?
Oh, yeah, I did have a curfew last night, 10:30.
10:30? Yeah.
Hopefully tonight's later, early out tomorrow.
All right. So a lot of activities. Good luck to you. A lot of fun seeing just a lot of development in you from even last year to this year, seeing the court, putting it in different spots. So a lot of fun to watch. Good luck this weekend. Congratulations on a homecoming win.
Thank you.
All right. That's Anna Hertz, the senior outside hitter for the Watertown Arrows. She finishes her night unofficially with 9 kills, with 1 block and 2 digs. As I mentioned, we are live here on Arrow TV this Friday for the Watertown Arrows versus Douglas Patriots football game, the homecoming football game. So tune in live to Arrow TV. Sam Mooney and Tyson Zemlicka will have the call. The Watertown Arrow Volleyball does defeat T tonight, 25-16, 25-19, and 26-24. I want to remind you that an arrow can only be shot by pulling it backward. So when life is dragging you back with difficulties, it means it's going to launch you into something great. So just focus and keep aiming. For all of the crew at Arrow TV, I am Cam Corey. Good night.